We'll rattle off a couple of games very quickly. Obviously, the Worcester game was postponed because of Newcastle. Newcastle doing pretty well with having COVID. They're still sixth, I think. So Worcester got their 4 points there, which has been beneficial for them. Very quickly, as I say, I turned this off because it had a terrible pitch. It was basically scrum central and line out central, but Saints beat Exeter 13-12 at Sandy Park after Ollie Slightholme charging down Joe Simmons. So learn from that, Joe. Anything else on that?
It's just always a risk with some of these weird sort of kick run up, various little jiggles back. I've always thought when a player takes a backwards step at the start of his run up, like really any movement, not just the forward movement. I think any movement should be determined to be the start of the run up. He says, speaking as a forward, not a kicker. Really, anything to make it harder, I don't have any problems with, given the percentages that most players, sort of top end players, are currently running at between 75 and 85%. There's absolutely no issue with making that harder.
No.
As far as I'm concerned.
I just wanted to know your thoughts on it, to be honest. As I
The only problem with that is the only problem with that is if you disincentivize scoring tries in the corner, then you end up with more pick and goes.
Yeah.
Trying to out scoring under the post, which is not ideal.
No.
But like currently, you genuinely never see anybody get charged down unless they do something like what Simmons did. So moving the balance further towards the charge downers, perfectly fine by me.
Yeah, it's a bit
all of these things. It's just a
bit of drama as well. Like obviously, you'd like him to have the opportunity to kick it. And probably with Simmons' record, especially at Sandy Park, he knows the wind conditions. He knows how to kick there. You think he'd probably back him to get over, and Exeter would take the win. But it keeps everything interesting. Northampton looking a lot better. I'm not overly convinced by them, but again, I'm not convinced by a lot of sides really. Everyone's been, apart from Quins at the moment and Bristol to an extent, and Exeter to a bit. But everyone's very inconsistent this year. You have to say, actually, there's not. Obviously, Quins are 4 in a row, which we can move on to. They beat a Sale side who have been up in that top 5 for really since the start of the season. But yeah, Sale are weird.
They've stopped picking a settled team. Sale. I can't immediately remember off the top of my head whether they have lots of injuries or COVID issues. I don't think they have any COVID issues.
No.
They obviously don't have too many internationals because they're all South African or American.
Ben Curry's injured. That's their only major injuries that Curry's.
Well, yes,
missing both was, but he's now back.
Yeah, but he's not a huge. Anyway, they have other good second rows.
I think Faf's got a short-term injury. He wasn't involved, which makes a difference for them.
Yes, and Wilcliffe is good, but not quite as good as Faf, so that does make a difference. But I think Dupree has started 2 games in a row now. Rob Dupree at 10.
A difference. They don't have any creativity.
Yeah. Sadly, I was wrong about him last year. Well, no, I wasn't wrong about him last year. He did play quite well last year. This year, he has not.
He was good. When he first came over, he was very good.
Yes.
But he benefits when they've got Rensburg's out and Tuolangi's out as well. You got to remember them.
Yeah, but he sort of doesn't really count because they have the same squad that they had when they were good before he signed. I assume Van Rensburg's injured then.
Yeah, and Tuolangi. So they're big misses.
Difficult.
But as I say,
I think because that's the thing that made Quins, or sort of enabled Quins' run. They've just picked the best 15 best 23. I think they've changed one substitute in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Other than that, they've literally named the same 23 all the way through. They've had like Marchant's not been picked by England, Smith, Kerr, Don Brandt,
Marler.
So Singler's already left.
Yeah.
Marler's still there. Nobody else is really anywhere near England. Brown is still there, and they're just taking over the same team. Get used to playing with each other. They've got their best player. It's fine.
They've got the best player in the league, right? Well, they've got the best player in the league right now, which is Marcus Smith, who ultimately should be in the England squad. And we keep saying it, but Eddie's not going to pick him, so there's no point of keep chatting too much, as I say, just moaning about it, because Eddie's got his way, and that's Eddie's way. But you can just keep commenting on how good he is. He's so good to watch. Like I obviously support Irish, so I've got this. I don't particularly like Quins, but I do enjoy watching them now when they are in full flow, because they're one of the only sides in the league that actually plays two passes out. So they get the ball to Marchant, they get the ball to Louis Liner quicker. Like Mike Brown gets loads of touches, and that sort of, though he's not the traditional second playmaker 15, but he can offer those skills. And it's that having, as you said, that core thing. Like Marler rocks up every week, who would be away from England at this time. Danny Kerr is still fantastic, and he's still their best option at 9. You've got Smith. You've then got Brown, as I said, at the back. Don Brandt's on fire. He just does so much stuff in the loose, and so excited. Again, Eddie's not going to pick him, but again, England's lost is Quinn's game again. Just he is fantastic to watch. Dan Evans is another one who we've been speaking a lot about in the week. I'm very, very impressed with him. He's worked hard in the last few seasons to get a bit more recognition. He looks a very, very solid 7. Like a very, very good out and out 7. Yeah, I'd say Quinn's are very, very good in this current state to be in definitely the top 5 for the top 4.
Yeah, well, it's sort of that thing where a team, by whatever luck or design, ends up all of a sudden having all of their international caliber players when nobody else does. Like, even I didn't mention there, but Scott Baldwin has played every game of this run as well.
Yeah.
And whatever you say about his line-related judgment, he's a very good rugby player.
He's captain as well.
Well, no, exactly. Well, didn't he go on the last Lions tour? That's how he got
bitten by a lion.
No, that was with a Welsh club on tour in South Africa as part of the Pro 14.
I don't know.
Anyway, no,
I don't think he.
I'm fairly sure he was on the last Lions tour. He's played a lot of games for Wales.
Yeah.
The reason he's not is because they haven't got great hookers at the moment. The only reason he's not is because he plays for Quins. Yeah, they've got a really good team all of a sudden, and they just need to make sure it stays fit for as long as possible. I don't know when Nathan Earl is back, because obviously he will add on to the depth they have on the wings. Louis Lyon is playing well, but he's not necessarily playing 80 minutes every week. He's not that big yet. He's not very old. You wonder if he'll start sort of getting a bit worn down after a while.
And he's also, this is his last season. He is back going off to the Reds. So, but they're using him as much as they can. They are linked with Nick David as well, the Worcester winger.
Yes.
Which is a good move for him.
Which makes me think somebody's leaving money-wise, because if David's contract is ending this season, then he's done enough to earn a decent one wherever he ends up next.
And also they're getting
English qualified. So
yeah, and the former under 20s player. No, he's got a great future ahead of him, Nick David. So, but more back on fly half watch, someone who's had a bit of an up and down, can be brilliant, can be a bit average. Zach Henry looked very good, especially his kicking game, very accurate from the boot. against Wasps.
Not perfectly yet.
No.
Didn't he miss the first?
No, but I mean, and his general all court on the pitch sort of kicking was very, very good. So.
Oh yeah, his out of hand kicking is top tier. It's really, really good to watch. That open play, first receiver, effectively left-footed box kick to kick the ball into touch was amazing. Like the best territory kick I've seen this year. Because just nobody does that. Like Richie Mo'unga does that, and that's it. And Zach Henry is doing it. He is so close to being really, really good.
Yeah.
If his placement was better and his defense was a bit better, do
you know who
a fun player? Just a fun player. Asset for the league.
He's Quay Cooper. Because he can be absolutely brilliant. Not quite Quay Cooper, because Quay Cooper's an enigma, but Quay Cooper famously wasn't great off the tee, can't tackle. So you could classify him as more of a Quay Cooper-esque fly half, because he loves to run as well, Henry, and he's very quick.
Yeah.
Which Cooper
very
is.
Quick.
I'm still hoping Quay Cooper.
Well, I was going to say
the Premiership.
Yeah, well, if he's not Quade Cooper, to borrow an analogy from a different sport, and it doesn't quite work for a number of reasons, but yeah, no, it doesn't really work well enough. But yeah, no, I was going to say he's Mesut Ozil, but he's sort of not quite the same level of just sheer level of talent, and he actually just works too hard for that comparison to be accurate. He does try his best. He's just not that good.
Mario Götze? Being Mario Götze type player?
Maybe. You need the emerging from the lower leagues at a late age. So he's 26, 27. This is his first season in top flight rugby. You need that story. He's obviously not quite Jamie Vardy. It's a different character. What's the comparison?
It must be a cricket comparison from somewhere. Something like that.
I mean, you could have a lot of fun and sort of go full like Ian Wright. He wants to be really, really fun, in that he again didn't start his sort of top flight career until a bit later. Had a normal job as a late teenager, came through the lower league, got spotted by a legendary manager. Obviously, Steve Borthwick's not quite a legendary manager yet, and then goes on to be one of the best players for his club. Define a generation, play for England. Okay, no, this is turning into a fan fiction. Yeah, no, I think he's great.
Yeah, I like him, to be honest.
Leicester have found obviously they've signed Bonilla, just in case Henry didn't work, because Bonilla was a known quantity. Everybody knew he was going to be good, but not brilliant. I think in Henry, they've got everything they need for that backup 10 when Ford's away. You can't really ask for much better than that. Nobody else is a 10 significantly better than him as their second choice, I don't think.
No.
There are some that are better, but not.
No, he'd be up there. There are better players, but in the second role, but
probably Wasps, given that they've got Atkinson and Gopperth, but obviously Jan Sopawanga, funny enough.
Not that many though. Who that many?
Yeah, let's have a little look at the league.
Bristol have got technically Lloyd's their second choice.
Yeah,
and then it's
probably
Bedlow,
Henry,
Tiff Eden. Then you've got Exeter who've got Steno's not playing anymore, pretty much. So it's Simmons.
They've got a young guy, Harvey Skinner,
yeah. So again, go on. I'd have that. Well, you'd have is Billy Searle as good as him? Worcester.
Yes. Yeah, different, but the same tier of quality. Quinn's backup 10. I don't even know who that is. James Lang?
No, it's not Lang. God, who is it? That is crazy because Marcus Smith plays so much.
Obviously. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna we've gone really off tangent here.
Well,
very quickly, I'm just going to find, while I'm sort of talking, I'll find the Quinn's backup. A couple of other players that really caught my eye. Freddie Stewart continues to be brilliant. He's going to be in England international in years to come. Love him. He's great. Keep working hard. Matthias Moroni was quality at 13. Again, another Argentinian. I can't think really of many bad Argentinians off the top of my head. Levanini's not particularly worked out for Argentina, but not Argentina worked out for him. But
the last couple of weeks.
Well, I think that's because he's just going to give it all his all now. He knows he's got another contract elsewhere. Just give it his all and leave Leicester in a better place. But he got in David Flatman's team of the week. It was Callum Brink was really good. Another young English 7. I like the look of him.
His name's Kyle, and he's actually South African.
Okay, it's Brett Heron would be the Quinn's fly half to jump back. And technically, Tyrone Green is down as a fly half. Tyrone Green is listed as a fly half centre for Quinn's, though he is basically a utility back.
Yeah, or fullback at best. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I wonder where he's gone. Irish, do you even have a backup 10? Brophy Clues,
and then Jacob Atkinson, probably.
Yeah. Gloucester, they are starting a backup 10. Northampton, James Grayson.
But is he injured? They had Furbank was playing 10.
Yes. Poor guy.
Poor him. To be fair, his first touch, he absolutely spiraled the ball up for a line out. So he, when you look at someone playing out of position who just really doesn't look comfortable, he just looks so uncomfortable playing first receiver. Just looked like he didn't look like he should have been. Which was strange. Like, you've got Piers Francis was playing 12. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't find. Like, Ollie Slightholme can play centre as well.
They have a lot of centres.
Yeah,
I think they
wouldn't have shifted Piers Francis,
Hutchinson and Proctor.
Yeah. Because Proctor was on the wing, so they could have shifted everyone in one, and then started for Anyway, I'm not Chris Boyd. Leicester look good. Borthwick's installing.
Don't put yourself down, Johnny.
Yeah.
You're a great coach.
Well, not yet. There's still time. Leicester look back to they're getting there. They look a lot better than they have done. They've just gone. Steve Borthwick has taken them back to what they're good at, which is a drive and maul, power. I've just looked at the time, and I think we want to get on to some Six Nations. Have you got anything on Wasps?
Massively depleted team. You can't win without a good back row, and when the back row that you start with gets injured midway into the game, it's going to be hard to win. It's just difficult when the players who've been playing, like the players who've pushed this season on and been performing as well as they have to get the team into the position they aren't there anymore. It's just not the team that we were looking at 6 weeks ago, which is just fine. That's what happens in the Premiership during the Six Nations. But every so often you lose to Leicester. Just one of those things.
And you're going to lose to Irish next week.
I mean, quite possibly, unless Eddie releases Odogwu.
Oh yeah, he won't be doing that. Who knows what Eddie wants to do? I don't particularly want to go into this because it was a bit of a dreary game. Bath Gloucester, obviously Bath nicking it with Priestland again. Who creativity? We talked about 10s again. Creativity. He's got as much creativity as an acorn, but off the tee, he is very, very, very good, and that's what you need him for. when need to dig themselves out of a bit of hole. Gloucester brought back Reece Zammit, who created a bit of magic for the Ludlam try in the corner. They just lacking something.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because Priestland is obviously has been quite good. He was quite good last year, but sort of quite good's not good enough.
No, but that's what they are. I'm not saying at all that they are down there because of Priestland, but you have the teams that are at the top have got solid fly halves.
That's the thing. Priestland is a solid fly half.
No, sorry, solidly, but have got that little bit of something else.
Yes, but I don't really think Joe Simmons has much more talent than Priestland. Really.
I think he's got a bit more of attacking sense. I'm honest. I'm not on the Joe Simmons hype England train, if I'm honest at all. I mean, I'm on the Marcus Smith fun bus to get him on but you kind of look at the two of them and you're like, why is he in the same conversation? Anyway, we're digressing back to other things.
We are. That tends to happen.
Gloucester need Lloyd Evans back. Oh, they just need a bit of something. But
they're sort of milling along.
But they're just losing tight games again, which they just need that killer instinct. So they'll get there. Again, they got no relegation, so relax. On Gloucester, that leads us nicely on to transfers of the week. They've just let Willie Hines leave. Worcester have picked him up. That's added to their sign of Chudley and obviously Duane van der Merwe. But with that, people might get lulled into us. I'm not being critical of Worcester here. They've made that's 3 really good signs for them. However, they're just replacing players they've lost. So Chudley and Hines are replacing Francois Huhard, who, if you put both of them together, is not Francois Huhard. They might be losing Nick David. Admittedly, they're replacing him with Duane van der Merwe, who is quality. So, well done. I mean, that back, but you'd love them to keep Nick David, van der Merwe, and Malani Nanai in the same team. That would be pretty hot. But you just kind of get with Worcester, with most of their signs is they just get players to replace other players that are leaving. They're not really building anything. It's keeping them in. Like they're losing Duncan Weir. Then they're looking like they're going to lose Cornell de Pria. That's 2 big players they're going to lose. But
I think that it's just part of being Worcester. Like they're not in a very exciting geographical place. They're not in a very exciting league position place. They're not in a very exciting come and play in front of 20,000 fans every week scenario. They have a budget. They spend the budget. They put a team out every week. They exist. Sometimes they're better.
It's true though.
No, but they're useful. They're a useful team to have in the Premiership because they're playing on a 3G, which is a different. It's like cricket where different pitches have different sort of different grounds have different tendencies. It's just a bit of colour for the league. They do bring a decent amount of money and can pay for some stars to be in the team sort of here and then. So obviously Nanai would be in any Premiership team apart from Bristol. Van der Merwe is a bit of a coup, honestly, getting him in the Premiership because
that's brilliant.
Well, apparently he's Scottish. So it's they're not great, they're not bad, but they're fun.
And to be fair, I think, and like when they signed Peter Stringer, when Peter Stringer was like 38, I think Willie Hines will be their Peter Stringer. They need a good, solid 9 that's going to be consistent. Like, if you can say what you like, Francois Houhard is an amazing 9, but Francois Houhard plays every 10 games for Worcester. They've got not the money that they paid for him. So, if I was a Worcester fan, if I was a hardcore Worcester fan, you'd have to reflect that and go, actually, getting Will Chudley and Willie Hines who are going to give you everything, opposed to a guy who's an enigma. I mean, to be fair, it's still weird that Houhard's at Worcester. It's still, to this day, still weirds me out, to be honest. It just seems
it's
fit, is it?
It's cash.
Yeah. He's got a Lamborghini.
He knows he's not going to play for the Springboks, and Worcester offered him more than Perpignan did.
Well, on South African 9s, Saracens have signed 2 of them. They've signed Rudin de Haas from the Cheetahs, and they've signed Ivan Van Ziel, who is coming at the end in June. That means they've got Ali Davies in there as well.
Not very good.
Well, he's Welsh, but I'll get your point.
There are a lot of people who played 9 for Wales in the last few years. Even the best of them aren't good. Even Van Sale is decent. He's been good for the Sharks for the last few years. He'll be absolutely fine for them, whichever league they end up in.
Let's not be the Premiership, please. Could you imagine? Great. Don't know.
Will be an interesting thing, actually. The players that Saracens sign will give us an indication of what they're expecting to happen in terms of their league position, because obviously currently they have an average championship team, not even a good championship team.
No, they're not great. I mean, they nearly lost to Coventry. They nearly lost to Coventry.
Yeah, they're not, and they nearly lost to Coventry with
players. Alex Lewington was playing, for example. Like
Sagan, the 7. What's his name? He's been there forever.
Hunter Hill. Jackson Ray.
Jackson Ray. Yeah, but they've been playing
Premiership. These guys have won the European title.
Yeah. Players. Yeah, and they're not winning every game.
It's not like they have lost games. They've lost 2 games to Ealing. They beat Doncaster and they've beaten Coventry, but not convincingly. Like, you look at the top, Newcastle and Irish, who have been down in most recent years, they didn't win every game. They lost a couple, but that was like fluke results to Jersey. Like, Irish lost away in Jersey by 2 points. Like, fair play. You take that on the chin. They lost to Cornish Pirates on a mud turned up pitch, but then they won the rest of the games. Like, yeah, it's like, I mean, the problem is, we're going to say all this. People will say, "Oh, Saracens won't get up," but realistically, they'll just throw a Toje back in, and it'll be all right.
Likelihood, yeah. But that's the thing. If they start signing internationals, Van Sale's are sort of borderline. I think he's played a couple of games for South Africa. If they start signing international forwards, then we'll know that they're expecting to be brought up, whatever happens in the championship this year. If they don't, if that doesn't happen until the certainty of the league position is dealt with, then it could get a bit more interesting, frankly. But we're not there yet.
Last 2 for me. Apparently, Joe Cocker is saying he might be coming back to Irish because his Bath contract's up at the end of the year, which would be, I don't really know. I mean, it would. I mean, I could see the move happening because he's had obviously affiliation there in the past, and his brother's there, and his brother's starting to come through now, which would be a bit of a family link. I fit Joe Cocker saying, I can cope with. But if he's going to be on 250,000, 300,000 pounds to be injured, we've got Wasik and Aholo, bless him for that. So, the latter must be going back to New Zealand because that bit of business has just been a bit of a mess. So I wouldn't be too annoyed if we'd signed him, but I mean, I just want Santiago Chocobaras, please. That's what I care about. Did you see?
Yeah.
Did you see in France that Joshua Tuasova packed down at 8 for Lyon? They did a Bastero and played him at 8.
Did they play him at 8, or did they have a set play where he went to 8 and then they had a specific designed run move off it? I've seen the clip.
Maybe the latter. I didn't read it too much. I just sort of got the clickbait of Joshua Tuasova plays 8.
Yeah, no, I think it was a sort of designed set move, and it's pretty cool. I think there's no harm in teams doing stuff like that, trying stuff out. It's good, especially with a player like Tuasova, because he's big. He can put his weight in at the scrum, and then when he gets the ball, he's as